Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Salma Kazi Wahab and welcome to yet another edition of Along the Path. With this beautiful spring season, we're speaking to individuals that have walked a path that may perhaps don't know the hidden journey behind it, the challenges, the obstacles, but also what it took to actually overcome those challenges and obstacles and arise of a new beginning, a new dawn, a new chapter. And many a times it may be difficult, it may be scary, but of course that is all what is meant. We are meant to encounter on our path. Who we see, what we do, what we succeed in, what we fail in is all part of the journey on our path. Joining me in studio today is somebody that needs no introduction, and she didn't come with any cakes or biscuits today, but we're thrilled to have her in studio with us, none other than Chef Basheerah Motala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and welcome to the studio.
Wa alaikum salam, Salma. It's good to be here.
Today you're not cooking.
No, and I apologize for the no cakes. I had a baby, which you very well know, that kept me up all night. She was unwell, unfortunately, and that's the reason why there's no cake. Next time we'll bring cake.
But that's all the facts of life, and
Yes.
it's part and parcel why I wanted you here today, because I think there's more to the layers behind who Chef Basheerah is, and who many see today. They just know you in your uniform. There's a lovely cake. Here's a Sebastian's and all the ones that are making waves right now. But there is so much more to who you are than I think that meets the eye. If
There
you,
is.
huh?
There's a lot more. I put out X amount on social media. People see so much, but like you might know, I choose certain things to be my private life, my what I like to keep in my little inner circle. And yes, I have a baby to worry about. I obviously have a family to worry about, and those are my other responsibilities. And sometimes that takes me a bit away from work, and I have to take time out, which I've also realized, and I'm figuring out how to do the balance of how to manage work versus family. But yeah, there are other parts to me, apart from the fact that I'm a chef, which I'm very proud of being a chef. But yeah, there's other parts to me which also are the important part. I'm a mum. So that's, alhamdulillah, that's a very important part of my life as well.
I love that, and you claim that title so beautifully now. I've seen you with your little one, mashallah. But when you look and you think and you see your daughter now, that's now in your arms, your responsibility to raise, so many thoughts probably going through your mind. Where do you want her to be? What do you envision for her? What do you hope for her? What are your dreams for her? But if you had to hold little Basheerah in your arms, what do you think were the visions for her that your mom maybe had for you?
That's a big one. I don't know what my mom. I don't know what my mom's visions were, but I feel she tried to give me the best that she could, and I will do the same for my daughter. I don't expect her to follow in my footsteps or her father's footsteps, but I'll just want her to be, firstly, the best Muslim that she can be. Remember always that whatever she chooses, she needs to remember that she's Muslim. And number two is just to be the best version of who she can be. No matter which pathway it takes her down in terms of her career, as long as it has Islamic values in it, I will support her and I will be her biggest motivator. But I think I've learned with the fact that I took off a career in chefing, which is not your normal girl thing. I feel like maybe it was a little bit different in the sense of that they are kind of like a list of normal careers that girls tend to follow, home industry being one of them. And chefing comes in a slightly different space to home industry because, you know, it takes you out of your home, number one. You're having then to work with the team. I think with the fact that, you know, the team now, alhamdulillah, has grown and has quite a number of staff, I unfortunately get to do a bit less in the kitchen than I would like to, and I have more admin roles than anything else. But that also comes part of, you know, being a businesswoman. But yeah, I just think that it's a little bit of a different ball game, and it wasn't something that my family expected me to do. They might have thought that I was going into a home industry and opening up something from home, which I did first, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm also grateful about the fact that it's grown and it didn't just stay as a home industry. And alhamdulillah, now we also employ 90% females. We have a huge female staff complement. I think they're grateful for the fact that, you know what, we've given quite a number of people jobs in the food industry, and yeah, and alhamdulillah, we've grown. we have aspirations to go further. And yeah, it's this new chapter came about for us, for me this year, with the fact that Nouvelle Cuisine grew into having a coffee shop. So that was nice. The business grew into a different segment, one that was part of my goals. That was part of my list of what was I going to do. I didn't have a timeline, but it was there. It was there on the bucket list, something that I had to get done, that I was passionate about. But yeah, I don't think everyone envisioned that, at that time, I don't think my mother envisioned I would be a chef. I still think there's a, list of preferred female careers, and now I think people have evolved and they look at females who become chefs a little bit differently, or even males that become chefs a little differently. And alhamdulillah, those who undertake it, I encourage them. As long as you put your mind to it and you're passionate about it, alhamdulillah, I think it has great potential.
With something like you mentioned, working with a team, and like you rightfully said as well, many a times what's often expected is for a female career choice to be more home-centered or family-oriented. You're looking at teaching. People often assume that, okay, a teacher can come home and be there for her children. Yes. I know teachers who are up till the early hours of the morning marking books and assessments. They can't travel much because they have to be at school. So it comes with its own challenges as well. But if you look at something like the career, the field that you chose as well, with that whole, as a Muslim woman, what do you think people need to consider when they are getting into a field like that? It's not as glamorized as you say people would expect it to be.
I think the idea of a chef is very glamorous because you think, here comes a chef and a shiny chef jacket and a chef hat and all of that. But you're right about the fact that it's not all just glamorous. There's a lot of hard work, and I think there's also a misconception that if you're a chef, then you kind of have easier hours, and that's not true.
You work for yourself.
Yeah, we work for yourself. That's the hardest job when you work for yourself. Your hours are not dictated. Alhamdulillah, now with having grown in that and progressed, we've now got a team. So now hours are a bit more dictated and a bit more structured, which is nice. And the thing is that it changes a little bit now that we've got a team in that, and just the structure is a little bit different. It allows me to, now that I've got a team, it allows me to say, you know what, I'm not going to be here, I'm going to take family time, which is very important. And also I've learned that I need to set my limits and say, no, we can't take on. This is my time. I've already set that time aside. And when there's work time, I set that time as work time. So it's okay to say no and not have the guilt of turning away a client. But if I've already accepted that this will be home time, this will be the time that I will not be taking on any more jobs or any more requests, then that's okay. But it's just a different career that demands a lot of time, because when you, especially when you're in a chefing career and you're working events, then of course, events don't go on just have structured times. They tend to go on till a bit late, and you end up being there till a bit late. So we choose our events, and we have now gotten to the point where we choose. But like everyone else in the industry, we also started at the bottom, where we went out to markets and we had pop-ups and that, and alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful for those. We don't do that anymore because alhamdulillah, we do quite a bit of corporate and private and that, which allows us to not have to go to pop-ups. But everyone starts there, and it's a great starting. Now, having progressed, we get to be a bit more selective about what we do. But it is demanding, and I think I'm still figuring it out. Maybe some mums have it figured out, but I think I'm still figuring out the whole balance thing. And when I'm working an event, where's my little one? Who's provided supper? What time is supper going on the table? I think that's just the general. That's the female thing. There can be a mum and dad, and both take on responsibilities. But I feel like the mum always has a different set of responsibilities.
There's emotional responsibility also that comes with it.
You're not there when your child is there, or you're not there when your child is sick. And the mum guilt is there. Taking on help and asking for help, that's a very big important part. And then making sure that your partner, which alhamdulillah I have a great partner, and just making sure that your partner is there and willing to assist when you're not there, and you both support each other. When one is working, then the other is there, and just making sure that work will still carry on, but also home will still carry on if one is supporting the other. So alhamdulillah for that, figuring out the balance. And so far it's been 11 months of 11-month-old in the family, and so far we're still going strong. So that's a good
Alhamdulillah,
thing.
alhamdulillah. It's such a beautiful way to look at your whole journey. You can see this is something you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that if you look at, there's so many different influences here. You constantly mention your daughter, then there's your husband. There's so many different things that also are now shaping. Things are evolving, things are changing.
Absolutely.
And you look at where we are right now with the spring. I want to actually go a little bit more into that after the break. I want to go more into how do you change? How do you evolve? Because now when you get married, things do change.
Oh, absolutely.
Things do, like you mentioned, the supper that's on the table, is it going to be standards of Chef Basheerah, or sometimes you just feel for noodles? I don't know. We're going to speak a little more about that straight after the break. Joining us today is Chef Basheerah Motala, and we're talking a little bit what it's like, Basheerah, behind the scenes, as the mommy, as the wife, as the daughter, and also in society. And the society we have today may sometimes not be the easiest society when it comes to judgments and harsh criticism. We speak all about that on the other side of this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Salma Kazi Wahab, and welcome back to Along the Path. Joining me in studio today is Chef Basheerah Motala. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I want to dig a little bit deeper behind all the chefing and the chopping of onions and all the recipe making. How much of that happens at home? Do you ever do like a meal plan for a week? Or how does Basheerah evolve into wife mode?
So Basheerah, before wife mode, used to do a lot of stuff at home. And then Basheerah obviously now has to prioritize coming home. I think I've learned that coming home means, do I have more time for family and baby, or do I need to be more in the kitchen? And I've chosen that I will leave the kitchen duty more at work, because at work involves a lot of the kitchen, being in the chef profession. And at home, mommy and wife need to be present. And mommy and wife need to be present. So standing over a pot, over the stove, over the oven is not exactly me being present. And until a time where my child is bigger and we can make cupcakes together, which I, inshallah, look very much forward to. Until that time, mommy tries to do as least as possible that she can in the kitchen, so that she can be present at the supper table and then be there after for bath time and just family time. And I feel that that is what my family needs. But then they know that mommy's kitchen is what made the supper. And I've also learned, before I felt that I would have to make my supper at home so that I could be the good wife and the good mother. And now I've learned that as long as they're having a good meal, a nutritious meal for supper, even if it was made in my kitchen, in my work kitchen, that's okay. As long as the family was full at night and the food was, alhamdulillah, good, doesn't matter if it came from the kitchen. Mommy had more time to play with them before bedtime and to be there. So I think that's a choice that I made, and it was a hard choice at first, because you try and figure out how to do everything, how to be able to bake and make sure that there's baking at home and make sure that you got fresh supper and that, and then figure out, you know what, you don't have to be superwoman. Just being more present, and doesn't matter if the supper came from the workspace, as long as it was what the family was happy with, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm there, I'm present, and that's what they need.
Absolutely. They need you. They need your presence. And a lot of the time what happens with business owners is you struggle to switch off.
Yeah.
You struggle to disconnect. If it's not the phone, if it's not something, you know, that's outstanding, if it's a bill or it's something that needs to be paid or a staff query, something or the other is happening. Where do you find time? What moments where you switch off or disconnect? What's some of the best times of the day, or how do you switch off?
So it's still a little bit of a challenge for me, letting my staff know that, you know what, I'm not available and this will be my time off. Thankfully now I do have a good admin team, so that helps. But apart from that, I find exercise helps me to get into a zone of just cut off. Pre-baby, I used to love running, and that used to be my, you know, I get into my zone in my head, and I clear my head out, and I don't have a phone because I don't run with the phone. So basically, if they want to contact me, they can't, which is good. But yeah, just sometimes that 1 hour of exercise where it clears your mind and you get that adrenaline rush from just from the actual sport itself, or whatever it is, exercise itself. Something as simple as Pilates, or even just you know, a weight training workout, but it helps me to clear my head. It gives me some alone time, gets me to not think about, you know, who asked for this and did I submit that and did that email go through and that quote went through. And yeah, that's a great time. And then there's other times where just at home, after shut-off time, I tell people, you know what, I don't take, work phone doesn't come home with me. And unless there's an emergency, I think I got to outline the emergency a little bit more finer, but unless there's an emergency, I'm not contactable. And for the most part, my staff respect that. And unless there's an emergency, they don't. And then I also have a good admin team, so should they need to get a hold of them for something less urgent, then they will get hold of them. But I try and figure out a balance, still figuring it out. But for the most part, I do get some alone time, home time, and some private time.
Lovely. You're somebody that comes across as so structured and so disciplined and so well planned and coordinated. Has that always been the case?
No, I think I'm still getting there. I don't think I'm totally structured in that, but I like to have a plan.
Right.
I like to have things in order. Apparently, I'm a little OCD, but I don't see it that way. But I like to have an order and a plan and a structure. And with having gone into the catering for events, private and corporate part
it comes
of it,
naturally.
It comes where you have to have structure and order in order to execute it properly and the way the client expects it. So I like that to translate into my admin side, and I do like that to translate into our food side. Yes, we still have our teething. We're new on parts of our business, and we still teeth and we're still learning, but we're adding on to structure and getting there, and I think it helps to create a good system and a good flow. And I like a plan. Some people prefer to wing it and figure out the plan as they're going along. I prefer to have a plan on paper and then take it from there and change it up if it needs to.
You're clearly somebody that lives, breathes, and eats her business.
Yeah.
But if we were to leave the business out of the equation for a moment, what is one of the favorite parts of your home or your life right now? Okay, obviously it's going to be your child.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
I walked right into that.
Besides with the child, who is my world
one
at the moment.
One of your favorite spaces, is it a sofa, a couch, or balcony?
For me, it's always been the outside, because I love running. Used to be my way of just clearing my head, so it's still sitting outside, and especially after Fajr, just having that quiet moment where the family is sleeping and I'm the one awake, and all I can hear are birds outside, and the sun is rising, and there's a beautiful sunrise, and it's just a quiet time. But sometimes, even if I'm not listening to some Yasin in my ears or something, it's just having that quiet time where I can meditate, think, and just think about some things I need to change, some things I need to implement, and just having that quiet moment where I don't have to hear a request or anyone asking me for something or anyone calling my name. That for me is a still moment that I really enjoy.
Are there any times that you reflect on your life previously? Maybe any regrets or any things you would have done differently?
I don't believe in regret.
Right.
I believe that there's taqdeer, and then there's a reason why everything has happened in life, and Allah has planned it such. Could I have done things differently? Yeah, there's lots of things that maybe could have been done differently. But again, I believe that life was a journey for me of learning. I don't think any of the experiences that I've had through life were not there for a reason. They were all there for a purpose, for a reason, to teach me something. I might not understand them, but then that's how Allah works. Sometimes things come in your pathway, you don't understand it completely, and I think that's beautiful on its own. And I don't think anything that I've done I need to regret. I think there's always room for improvement. Something I can do better, something I can learn to strive to do better. I always believe in whatever profession you're in, you can grow. There's always room for growth, for learning. I'm still going for training as regularly as I can, because I feel that there's so much more to learn. I haven't reached my end as yet. I've got so much more to learn, so much more to adapt on my own, to bring into my business, to teach my staff. And then there's self-growth, which I don't have enough time for, but I really feel like every person can learn to work on themselves better, to make themselves a better person. My husband is a great motivator for this, on the self-growth and being a better person, a better version of yourself. And inshallah, I will get there.
I love that. And you mentioned you're still training as a chef?
Absolutely.
What skills are you hoping to learn now?
So I go as regularly as I can. But obviously, with business responsibilities, I can't go every 2-3 months, but I do have one coming up soon. I shall not divulge exactly what it is, only because I'd like it to be a little bit of a added, excited element to our
it's
business.
Like a skills training.
Yes, skills training. So it's always skills, sometimes it's just office related, but otherwise it's skills that we can adapt into our business, so we can add in new elements. I'm sure you're aware of the fact that the food industry itself is such a big industry, number one, but it's also evolving all the time. The food trends globally and that carry on changing. So I have to keep abreast with it. I have to keep up with it. I have to make sure I'm keeping up with the trends in order to stay relevant, which is a huge thing. But also I just get excited by the fact that there's something new out there that I need to try and I need to learn how to make it. I need to get the skills of. So yeah, training, skills training regularly, my staff and myself, and we go out as many times as we can, and we train and we get the skills. And even if we don't implement them, we've got the skills because we need to learn new skills. It also keeps us, keeps us on our toes and keeps us excited about this profession. And I can wake up and be excited about my job and my profession. And I think in any profession that you're in, if you wake up with at least one day a week excited to seize the day and take on the day, then that's a great thing and you're happy in your profession. I get my tired days, but alhamdulillah, for most part of it, I am happy to wake up and say, it's another day. What am I learning today? What are we doing today? What am I tasting today?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you could taste something today or one meal, what's that question? If you could have one meal for the rest of your life?
Oh, that's
something that you would choose, that's your ultimate comfort food, soul food for Basheerah, what would it be? Piece of chicken? Tell me it's fried chicken.
I have a sweet tooth, unfortunately. I have a very bad sweet tooth. If I had to have one meal for the rest of my life, that's like asking a chef to choose one utensil.
What would it be? What would you make, or what would you want to have on your table that you just can't get enough of?
For me, I have a sweet tooth. Belgian chocolate for me goes down with anything. Pure
bottomless
good.
Chocolate.
Oh, Belgian chocolate. But I'm talking about the pure Belgian chocolate and a bit more on the darker side. I think you can make any dessert amazing if you just add Belgian chocolate to it.
Absolutely.
I think that's one of my weaknesses, Belgian chocolate.
Fantastic. And finally, I must ask you in closing that for the young, aspirant, ambitious business owners and young females today, if you had to advise them anything in this era of social media chaos, I would say, and the trends, keeping up with the trends and being relatable and being relevant, what would your advice be to those young women that are venturing out into the working world today?
It's different nowadays because, as you're saying, the social media that's taking over so fastly. But just as long as you're passionate about what you do, the social media part is very important, but don't lose the passion of what you do and don't get so engulfed in just the social media part of it. You need to still have the passion for what you do. Let that translate into the social media part of it. But still, sometimes I feel the social media part of it and just capturing takes more priority than the actual item itself or actual profession itself, and that shouldn't be the case. You should still be passionate, you should still give your 100%, and then the social media part will follow. Sometimes there's word of mouth, that's a different aspect, and social media might have less impact than word of mouth has impact. So just be passionate about what you do, and if you are, then it will show in your work.
Wonderful. We wish you all the best for the remainder of the year. May the spring, summer season bring you lots of success and joy in your life, inshallah. Jazakallah so much for spending time with us.
Shukran for inviting me.
Such a pleasure chatting to Chef Basheerah Motala, and we hope and wish all the Belgian chocolate for you in the spring and summer to come, inshallah. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.